Alright. Sorry about the dead air there for a bit. So, what I'm doing today is just showing you something that I've been cooking up a little bit in my not-so-copious spare time. Keep in mind, I'm not a GUI developer. I do develop code and things, but I do daemons and servers and back-end stuff, and this is the first time I've actually built anything in C#. This is not the first time, but it's been a very, very, very long time since I have done a Windows or GUI application of any kind. What I'm actually writing it in is C#. And what it's going to be is just a simple inventory editor and maybe some basic stats and stuff. Right now, the only functionality that works is to edit, add, and remove contents from at least from most of the machines. I know that I don't have all of them because there is no easy way to find every machine that can carry inventory in the game. If you guys have saves where it's just you and the machine or a few machines, that would be awesome. That would help me out. That would save me an hour or two of mucking about and doing it myself. All I need is the world.xml. The rest of it is my editor doesn't even look at any of it. You can't actually spawn things into the world with it. What you can do is add, right now, all you can do is add things like steel, iron, electrum, silver, solder, etc., to things like furnaces and fabricators. Code's kind of messy to me. I tend to feel that way about all GUI code, so maybe that's just me. Maybe my code really is messy. Actually, I'm sure my code is kind of messy. I might do some of the development on stream if people are interested, but I don't really have too many people watch my channel anyway, so I'm just going to do a quick run of it. I'm running it in the debugger, but it does run as a standalone executable. I haven't released the code yet officially, or the compiled application yet. I'm waiting on a couple of dot tries, cross your T's type of things to show up. I don't have a current Authenticode certificate, and I'd rather release signed executables and signed installers than unsigned ones. So when you fire it up, you'll see, maybe I'll get somebody to make an icon, so the default Windows Form icon. You'll see this screen here. It should mostly resize now. I think I've got that all sort of fixed up, so that tracks. Over here, this is actually a tab panel, and you'll see that in a second here. Again, this is a work in progress. This is not complete. But you'll navigate to your Documents, My Games, Stationeers, Saves, Directory, and then in there, you select the save, and it will filter out. I'll probably change this so it'll let you at least try to open any other XML file, but the only type of file it will understand is world.xml. It's very likely that this editor will get broken as the game progresses, and I will try to keep it working and up to date. So you're going to click on Open, and right now I have 3 basic categories. I've got Players. It's your player entity. That doesn't load anything right now. I've got Lockers, which I'm not sure exactly how I want to do this, and I'll probably change that. The number to the left is the reference ID. This is part of the data in the file, and part of the reason why I put it up there is because unless you assign a custom name to something, it's kind of hard to tell the difference between 3 lockers, 4 lockers in the list, because all their sort of metadata looks the same. Lockers are not editable right now. They may be by the time I actually release this. So when you click on a locker, it will load the items in the locker and you can see what's in the locker. What I want to do at that point is when you click on an item to allow you to edit that slot in the locker. Obviously I have not completed that yet. And when I say edit, it's not going to hold your hand very much because it's going to look like the machines down here. When you go and open a machine, because right now the only thing you can edit with machines are the reagents, it just opens a reagents tab. I do need to, again, this is a work in progress very much. That is not resizing properly, so I need to fix that. And I don't even have a way right now to close the tabs. Turns out, I guess, in C#, and this is kind of typical Windows GUI bullshit that you have to deal with, the close tab feature is not a feature at all. It's something that everyone has to program into their tabs. So I have to kind of figure out exactly how to do that. I've got a good idea, but I need to mess around with that. So you'll have a list of reagents, and the reason it's reagents is once you insert an iron ingot or a stack of iron into a machine, it becomes just this simple reagents entity. So from what I can tell, everything is like reagents dot blah. So I haven't tested everything. All right, you're going to manually enter the reagent. If you enter this incorrectly and save this world file, it will probably break the game. Back up your world.xml before you use the editor, seriously. The save button lights up once a change is made. And this saves, when you save here, it saves to, it just saves your changes. It doesn't actually save the world file, if that makes any sense. It does it in memory like you put it into the game. So you click save here. If you click, oh, that's a bug. So I already found one. If you click save, then it will enable the file save world save option. When you click file save here, it will actually rewrite the world.xml file. You can't have Stationeers running when you're editing the world.xml files. I try to prevent that by locking the file when I open it. So if you get an error opening a file, yeah, piss off, fuck you. Yeah, I have bad language. Creative Cloud. So anyway, sorry, squirrel. So it's just a simple editor, and that it's not going to get too complicated. I really don't intend on populating drop-down boxes for things like these reagents and items, like, and even if I do, I'll probably I'll make it so you can freeform add one, I guess. I'm not sure how to do that in C# in the GUI. But the assumption is going to be that you know a little bit about what you're trying to do before you do it. It's not like it is a cheat and it isn't. I mean, it is in the sense that it lets you do all these things, but it's not going to be a cheat in the sense that, you know, you just load it up beside the game and you hit one button and it just does the thing. I'm not, sorry, homie, don't play that. I'm too lazy of a developer. I've been using it, or well, I wrote it and have started to use it because of the bugs in the stackers, particularly because I kept losing a lot of resources, and so that's why the machines thing is finished first. The locker thing will finish later. You'll note that the lockers that you haven't clicked on don't have a plus symbol, and that's just because they're unloaded. I'll probably color code that later so you can see by color that one isn't loaded, but once it's loaded it should always show, even if they're all, it will always show, not should. It'll show all the slots even if they're empty. And right now, like I said, they don't, when you click on them, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't hold your hand. If you hit file close without actually saving the world file, your changes are gone. I'll probably add a little bit of hand holding. Same thing if you just close the app with an open edited file. Like if I open this world.xml back up. And I make a change here. Again, I gotta fix that save button so it disables cancel. And then if I exit the app here, cancel there on that screen. I'll get back to it real quick. File open, world.xml, and this is, it does save where you, or it does remember where you were last opening, and that's like just a feature of the Windows 10 and I think before file dialog box that I'm using. Anyway, the cancel button, all it does is reread what is in the world file, basically, in my in-memory copy of the world file, and refills that out. So the cancel button just kind of resets it to whatever exists if in the file, in the open copy, not necessarily the copy that's on the disk. File save is the only time it will write it out to disk, and I did this kind of intentionally because I don't want it automatically breaking things as you're editing stuff. It does hold the file open and in a way that tries to prevent anyone else from opening it, but that depends on Windows behaving, and we all know how well that happens. It is C#. The XC may work under like Mono or something. I don't run Linux on the desktop at all anymore, so I haven't tested that, and I don't expect to. If you guys have, I expect that it will, because I am not using anything outside of like core .NET 4.6.1. So it should just work, I suppose, in Mono. I've got to figure out the installer generation process a little bit better, and I've got to figure out where I'm getting a dependency that I don't think I should have, but maybe I do, because it's depending on the HTTP lib, and that may just be because I'm using the XML stuff and it's all part of that. Don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I got a few things to figure out with generating installers. I have to wait on the cert authority to generate my cert, because there's some issues with my business registration that I forgot about, and that's all on me. So yeah, this is just going to be quick little bit on the editor. I'll post this to YouTube a little bit later here, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to post them in the comments on YouTube. Try to get in touch with me on Twitch if you want. I'm Overkill+1 over there, and Overkill+1 on YouTube. You guys will figure out what my real name is and stuff, momentarily, because I'm not, I don't try to hide that crap, but hopefully there's no major creepers out there. Probably are. But anyway, yeah, it's just a simple little, like right now, like I said, all you can do is machines. When I first officially release it, I do want to finish like the ability to click on a slot in a locker and empty it, or add or remove an item. And with these locker slots, you got the slot number. If it's empty, I just put empty. If it's got an item in there, I put the item reference and the item type. And the item reference thing has me a little worried-ish. That's part of what this max ref and the status bar is right now. Once I finish this, I'm going to be generating new items for the game, and I'm assuming that the XML file contains everything about the items, and that the bin files are just the voxels, and I don't actually need to care about the voxel stuff, especially since I'm stuffing things into lockers. I'm not going to let you spawn stuff into the world, because I can't. I'm not going to deal with the voxel format, and I mean, I could, but I'm just not going to. Editing players, I'm not sure what I'm going to do there, because I haven't mucked around with it very much. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure there. I may allow you to like bring back a dead player from a single player, which may piss the devs off. Heck, just the fact that this thing exists, if or when they find out, may irritate them. I don't know. But yeah, it's just really it's really just an XML editor with a user interface. I'm using standard libraries that exist in Windows 10 and can be easily installed into all other versions of Windows, which is to say the .NET libraries, .NET Core, and Windows Forms. I didn't use the new style. There's multiple ways you can develop a Windows app these days. I'm old school and I only ever knew Windows Forms in C, like C in assembler. That's how far back I go. Or maybe I'm that much of a masochist, which is why I mentioned the assembler. But I have done a little bit of C++ stuff, but like dealing with the XML in C++ without memory management, quite frankly, scares the bejesus out of me. So I decided to bite the bullet and do it in C# because I get C++, but I get the ease of not having to worry about all my own memory management. I just get object references, which is a lot simpler to deal with. Yeah, again, like I said, if there's any questions or anything, I plan to release it by the end of the week, maybe by the end of the day. Kind of depends on things I don't have control over. I'll probably stream in a little bit here. I'm gonna start building my base over, I think, and that's because honestly they've made a bunch of updates to the game. My save does not appear to have generated nickel at the very least. It did generate silver and lead. I eventually found silver and lead, but I think that my save is broken in some world gen ways, which is fine. It wouldn't surprise me at all because it's from like the day 1, day 0, early access release. So, there could have been changes in there that I'm not aware of, and I'll see about getting this resizing fixed so that these track a little bit at least when you resize, and then I'm gonna figure out how to get a close X or something on these tab bars, because right now you can't close them, and I don't want to stuff a button in here just to close the tab, but I may have to do that. I hope not, but obviously there's a way. It's just that like the tab panel, it doesn't exist, like, and there's a bunch of people mentioning this out there on help forums and stuff like that. I just have to weed through old and bad advice to find something that works, and I think I've figured that out now. I just basically kind of have to draw what I want in there, draw a hit box around it, and and during the click event, check for that hit box and see if you were in that hit box, which probably made sense to absolutely nobody, but that's okay. Anyway, I'll probably catch everybody later. I kind of got the day off today. Being right after Christmas, I decided to take it easy today. Catch you later.